So this is the name of the game. Okay, you have 5 minutes. You have $100 million. And we're talking about US dollars here. Okay, so while I'm speaking, you can start think about what you're gonna say, what you're gonna do, but you're gonna discuss what you're gonna do together as a group. Okay, and you have to spend it in 1 year. Yeah, but there's a catch. Okay, you need to pay back that $100 million in 1 year. So you need to make sure you spend it, but you gotta pay it back. Okay, how would you spend it? So this is how we're gonna do this. I have a list of names here on the side of my screen, and you were placed in 5 groups. So I'm gonna treat this as if it's, a startup competition. And we have 5, startup companies who had an initial investment of $100 million. So I'm gonna call you to put your CEO up to, make their pitch of how they're gonna spend this $100 million and pay it back in 1 year. Yeah, who's up? Who's your CEO? Chris, Darko, Daisy, and Harold.
Thank you. Okay, we just discussed and we thought we could invest the estate.
Okay.
And buy some diamonds or jewelries, or to invest the education. You can invest in university.
Okay.
Yeah. And luxury cars and houses in big cities, because we need to pay back.
Yeah. And is there a strategic plan to pay back? How are you going to guarantee your investment? What was any ideas around that?
There's a risk. We're not sure if we can pay.
Okay. No problem.
And any investor have the risks, right?
Most definitely.
Yeah. So that will answer.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. That was a good effort. So I heard real estate, you buy diamonds, some luxury cars, and a university, you buy an entire university. Interesting. Great job. Okay. Because one of the things I've learned throughout my entire life, I'm not that old, but I think I've had some experience. And one of the major things that I've learned is that most time we would overestimate what we can do in a year, and we'll underestimate what we can do in 3, 4, 5, or even a decade. Some of the things that you have written that you believe that you need $100 million to achieve, you actually don't need that much money. You can start working on it now, and with taking those small baby steps and those little action, it can become a reality even faster than you may think. So just before I open the floor to Karina, I want to leave you with this powerful message, or this powerful quote, as I know that what Karina is going to share would be reinforcing this. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Yeah. Now, if I tell you that it's a miracle that I'm here standing, speaking to each and every one of you, most of you may not believe me. But if you understand my backstory, 30 years ago, this may have seemed impossible. Yeah. And when I say that I am not what happens to me, I am what I choose to become, I certainly do believe that. And as you think about your own dreams and aspirations and the struggles that you have experienced, I want you to use this as your mantra tonight. Use this as your mantra tomorrow and every day after that.
Hi there, Adrian here, and this is a video from a Zoom session that we do. We do these Zoom sessions every Sunday, and we take questions and answers from the audience, some of our students, some of our members. We never know what questions are coming up, so I'm always excited to do these sessions, and I hope to see you at one of them. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below and check out the other playlists that we have. Thank you. Enjoy.
And with this, I want to introduce you to this amazing woman, Karina Lemire. I hope I did justice to the last name. She's an NLP and trauma survival coach. Okay, and she have had her own adversities, and she have overcome a lot of those from a very young age, and she'll be sharing some of those adversities and stories with you tonight. And I'd just like to give her this space so that she can grace you with her present and maybe give you a little nugget that you can take with throughout your life. So Karina, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to see that a lot of you already have pen and paper, because my opening line was to have a pen and paper, because the faintest of ink is better than the best memory out there. So I'm very pleased. Yes, in fact, I am a trauma survival coach, but today I'm a coach. I'm your coach. Today is all about you. Today is really all about you. I really want to raise awareness, raise your own awareness that show of hands, show me that you believe that life is a choice. Like what Dino just said, it's a choice. We decide and we commit. So today, the session is all about, it's all about facing adversity. Facing adversity that you might have thought that you didn't do, you weren't able to do it. But I have a couple of questions before. Who is like me and not a computer person? Anybody here? You guys are all, oh yeah, okay, great. So I'm not alone. Who here has ever experienced a paper cut or a scissor cut? Who's ever cut their fingers? Show of hands. Don't be shy, guys. Don't be shy. There you go. I am not alone. So who here has had some sort of trauma? Any kind of trauma. Doesn't have to be big. There's no such thing as a big or a small trauma. A trauma is a trauma. It's very personal to the person that lives it. There you go. That's out. That's out. So today you're also going to be empowered by your own life story. Okay, that's as unique as you are. You're also going to be inspired by other people that you're going to hear. I have an exercise later that's going to implicate you guys, that you're going to, again, feed off your own energy. Okay? Today is, again, going to realize that it's okay. Those days that you don't feel okay, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to feel like playing in the game of life. It's happened to me a lot over the years. Anybody else here that didn't want to play in the game of life? You just wanted to, right, deflate. Okay, so it's totally normal. There's no guilt to have for that at all, at all. And today is going to be an opportunity for you to realize that you have a story and that you need to be proud of it, because it led you to today. It led you to right here. Out of a gazillion things you could have done on a Sunday, this is where you are at. This is what you chose to do, which goes again to what Dino said. You chose, you decided to be here. So bravo for that. So the job that I put upon myself today is really to plant a seed of belief, or to reinforce that belief that you have resilience inside of you. Sometimes we think that we're not enough. Sometimes we think we're too much. I want you to realize today that you are just enough. You're just perfect the way you are. You okay, Harold? The stretches are good? Yes. Okay, perfect. So there's 5 skills to resilience. But before I tell you, can one of you tell me what is your definition of resilience? Anybody?
Really, resilience is something that you come back from what happened to you, and you will be able to be strong and come out like I won. I think that's what resilient is, and it's very, it's something very precious, and it's not within everybody. And I don't think that's something that you're born with. That's something that you develop with and learn. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. Some people are going to say that the opposite. I believe like you, Victoria. I believe like you that it's a skill that we learn through living these traumatic events, right? Like I said before, trauma is personal. It doesn't matter what it is. But some people actually think that when a baby is born, it's very traumatic to go down the birth canal. Therefore, trauma is a child as a baby. It depends. Me, I am telling you that I'm like you. I believe it's a skill. The first skill of resilience is emotional well-being. Resilience is something inside of you telling you it's not right. And when you know that something is not right, that means you got to make it right for you. There's no specific way to do it. I can't give you a recipe for it. You have your own recipe. Inner drive, when I tell you a little bit about my story, you will understand. I'm the type of person that always like to take the bull by the horn. By the horns, there's two horns. Take the bull by the horns and rip the Band-Aid and do what I have to do to plow through what I have to plow through. Okay. The other one is focus on the future. Keep your eye on the ball. Have a goal. If you don't have a goal, how do you know where you're going to go? Right? Physical health. Some of us eat too much, eat too little, drink too much, drink too little, smoke this, that, but it is so true. When you take that moment at least once a year to take care of your health, you are telling that resilience, like you just said, Victoria, I did it. I won over you, right? And obviously mental health is very big on that. Today, mental health is huge. It is no longer a taboo like it was. Today, we can speak of it openly without feeling guilty. So, I'm going to give you a little insight. My story is a little bit long, so I'm going to give you a little insight now. From the ages of 6 to 14, my mom was married. And from the ages of 6 to 14, I was, or rather I am, a physical abuse survivor, emotional abuse survivor, mental abuse survivor, and a sexual abuse survivor. And that was for the 8 years that my mom was married. Okay? Why I'm capable of telling you this right now is because I'm a trauma survival coach, and I was my first client. I had to survive myself before being able to help other people with my story. That is going to be inspiring. I guarantee you about that. But now that you have found that there are moments you thought you would not be able to surmount it, and you did it, if you do it once, you can do it again, right? If you do it once, you can do it again. And you never know. Sometimes we think that our own stories, oh, it's just me. It's not important. Who's going to be empowered by that? Being empowered is not empowering other people. It's actually empowering yourself. By me sharing my story with you guys, it's empowering, it's giving me strength. By each other sharing your stories with each other is inspiring. Okay. And a few years back, I was asked I was in a relationship with my second husband. It was beautifully traumatic, like the rest of my life. And but he was a very functioning alcoholic, and I was having a hard time due to my childhood. Everything was coming back. And I was going to Al-Anon, which is for family and friends of alcoholics. And after a year of being at the meetings, I was asked to share my story, my life story, such as I'm doing now. I'm not the procrastinating type. I'm actually the type to hand in my homeworks early, okay? But I found myself procrastinating my own truth, okay? And it's only when I actually, the afternoon, the meeting was at night, so in the afternoon, I actually sat down and I had to tell myself my own truth. I had to talk to myself and say, okay, what went on in my life? And what did I do to get out of it? Because I don't want to be a martyr. I don't want to be there just to cry about my story, right? So I had to be real. This is what I came up with. So after what happened in my childhood, when I was 21, I got married to a wonderful man. I thought I never had to think of my childhood again, but it's not the case. It came back to bite me in the ass. Excuse my French, okay? At 25, I had a stroke. That stroke left me in a coma and in a locked-in syndrome where I couldn't move my body, only my eyes. And it's only a few, I'm sorry, Daisy?
I just said really.
Yes. Do you know you're checking time? Because you know I like to talk, yeah? Okay, thank you. So it's only a few months after I was back at home and I was looking at my baby play in the yard that it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And it was like, shit, I just got a second chance. So all of these traumas led me to that moment where I said, wow, never mind what I lived when I was a kid and what I lived with this, and I survived the stroke. So this is my chance to not screw this up and be the best person I can be. Life went on. I got divorced at 33. I met the second love of my life at 34. I lost a baby at 35. Things were a little bit rocky with the alcoholic husband, right? Yeah. And at 38, I fell into this deep depression where I say I cracked. I literally was crying for help and I didn't know what kind of help I wanted. I was seeing social workers, psychologists, blah, 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 everybody. And it was helping, but just not enough. And when I cracked, I said, okay, what am I going to do about that? I got evaluated by a psychiatrist. And it was determined that I have bipolar traits and I have double personality traits. I had my 15 minutes of crying in the doctor's office. I was like, holy pepper, huh? Oh, what am I gonna do with this? I cried. I said, okay. I took the bull by the horns again. And I said, what am I gonna do about it? What are we gonna do about it? Because I knew he was there. I wasn't alone. Just like you weren't alone in the room. So I just did to you what they did to me. They supported me, okay? And I got the help. I decided to be a survivor in the hospital and survive my stroke. And I committed to my rehabilitation. I decided when I was diagnosed, I decided to do something about it, do some sort of therapy that was needed. And I committed to that 9 months of therapy. Do you see a pattern here? Do you see a pattern in my story? Decide, commit. Decide, commit. Everything you do, everything I do has to be like that. And when I sat down and I said, shit, that story is me. I was trembling inside. I was uncomfortable. You remember at the beginning, I said, you're going to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I was not comfortable at all with what I had just told you. I was scared. I was worried of being judged, but it's my story. It's my story. And I'm using my story to fuel my future. This is my biggest message today, is to use your personal story, your way of life. And at 48, which I am gladly to say now, the caterpillar has become the butterfly.
Congratulations.
It takes time.
Thank you. Thank you. Who said that?
I said that. It
Yeah.
takes time.
It takes time. It takes time, guys. I have always believed that God's plan A is often our plan B. And sometimes plan C, plan D, plan E. I'm at plan K right now. Okay. But I believe that. And I know that a lot of you do, if not all of you. Okay. And when I sat down, there was 3 common denominators. And I know that Darko knows those my 3 A's. I know that Darko knows what are my 3 A's. Darko.
Acknowledge, acceptance, and action.
I love you. I love you. Ah, hallelujah. Yes, guys. Yes.
Say that,
Yes.
say that again. I'm going to write it down.
Acknowledge
Acceptance,
that you are not in denial.
Acceptance and action.
Action.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, at
Yes.
my point of view is more that than what Victoria said before. It's not a fight. It's like swimming into the river. So you have to be able to be flexible into the river to handle the things. Then when you are safe, you can watch how the river drove you and what's where your strength of flexibility to
Yes.
absorb the things, to be able to put them outside
Yes.
after.
Yes. Can I share
It's
something?
not
I love Mathilde. You're inspiring me right now. I want to show you something, guys. I can't. I know who's got kids. I know Isabella has. Pretty much everybody's got kids, right? Okay. You remember when I told you I was 38 and I fell into a depression and I got diagnosed? Mother's Day came about and my daughter was in grade 4 at the time. This is made of clay, okay? This is what she gave me. Can you see?
Oh, yeah.
Water, fish,
Yes.
trees, and birds. My heart right now, my daughter's 25, and honestly, I get choked up every time I think of her. You know what? Because I have never said in front of her, I told my therapist at the time, I felt like a fish out of water.
Yes.
I have never used those words in the house. And this is what she gave me, a fish out of water. So our children are looking, people around us are looking. I like to say walls have ears. So yes, acknowledge, accept, and action is the common denominators. My NLP trainings have just amplified my knowledge that I was already emotionally intelligent before, and my NLP training is making me even that much more. I'm not using a lot of the words today because I want to relate to you guys. I want you guys to feel comfortable, and I think you trust me a little bit. So thank you. These are the quick, I know that time is advancing. These are the quick things that you might want to write down that I have done. Number 1 thing is having no guilt and no regrets. At the age of 19, I decided not to be like my mom, without judging her, but not making the same choices as her. And I have lived my life ever since then with no regrets. When I left my alcoholic husband, I have a lot of love and respect for the guy. He's just not for me anymore, right? But I moved out and I took the bull by the horn again. Last June, I left my 15-year marriage. I started a new career. I started schooling. I never looked back. Sempre avanti, go forward. Second thing is that I did not allow myself to be a punching bag, an emotional punching bag. People that suck the energy out of you, I call them energy vampires. They take everything out of you. As survivors, we already don't have too much to give. So give your energy wisely. That's what I learned. Another thing, language patterns, the way you talk to yourself, the way you think about yourself. Remember what I said, there's always somebody looking, there's always somebody listening to you. Be the best version of you can possibly be. My all-time favorite, should I keep going? Setting boundaries. Who here has a hard time setting boundaries?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm gonna put my hand like that, but at some point, yes. At some point, yes. And it's when I learned how to set my boundaries that I stood my ground and I didn't let anybody take me over. Merci, Tadil, Matilda. Thank you for writing everything, and Yolanda also. Thank you for doing it in the chat. And I learned this the hard way, and I've asked my coaches also. I think that is very important if you want to get better, if you want to build that strong resilience, is surround yourself with like-minded people, people that are going to support you, people that are going to bring something conducive to your life today. Not the life you were. As of today, you are a changed person. You are not the same person as you were yesterday. So being with people that are serving your purpose, that's what I learned when I left my marriage. Everybody I have in my life now, you guys, my clients, my teachers, my coworkers, are people that are feeding me. And I hope that I'm feeding them also in some way. Yes. Now, I did a little bit of research. I went on Google and I found 6 more ways. And as I was reading those 6 ways, I went back to looking at my own story. What did I do? Did I do something? Did I miss something? Practice self-awareness. Today, you are being self-aware. You are paying more attention to yourself, to your feelings, to your thoughts, to your words. Learn from your previous mistakes. The past is the best teacher. I often use the example, if you put your hand on the dresser, on the table, and you take a hammer and you hammer your hand, can you really complain that your hand is hurting? You can't, because you're self-inflicting it yourself, which goes back to deciding and committing, right? You decided not to hit your hand with a hammer, and you are committing not to hit your hand with the hammer. Mindfulness. I know that Bernadette is the queen of mindfulness. If those of you who are not sure, go look on Google, go look on YouTube, anything that is going to promote mindfulness. Mindfulness means being in the now, being in the present. You guys are being present with me right now. I can tell you all have intense look. You're all writing things down. You are here. You're in it to win it. Maintain perspective. You remember I said, keep your eye on the ball, keep your focus, set your goals. set your goals, short-term goals, long-term goals, but you want to strive to be something better than you are today. And build self-confidence. Automatically, when you do all that, you are building your self-confidence. When I'm sharing my story with you guys, when I'm just sharing my tricks, it's building my self-confidence. Okay? So I don't teach. In my previous life, I was a teacher for 30 years in cosmetic sales, and yeah. Okay, so when I talk, that's basically what I mean. I don't teach what I don't practice. I don't sell what I don't use, right? In conclusion, I want you guys to know that I am very proud of this. All this happened in the last 6 months. Most of this revelation in the last 6 months, my life has turned around 360. My feeling, I love my life. I love my house. I'm by myself with my 31 plants and my dog. And I love my place. I love my friends and my family that I have. I don't have family because they're all toxic to me. So I subtracted. I love them from afar. You guys are my family. You guys are giving me what I need. So I'm very proud to say that I found out that there was no support groups in parts of the world. India, Morocco, Tunisia, many places. I said, I'm starting my own. So every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m., I have a survivor support group. You can look for it. It's called Survivors Inner Circle. And the Zoom link is there, and it is open to all survivors. Of course, I am specializing in stroke survivors because, again, that's my story. But all survivors are more than welcome. So pass the word around. Tell people if you want to come. If just be in the room and listen and feel the love. I think I'm done. I hope that I taught at least one. Dino, did you tell them that I have a podcast?
Well, now is the opportunity to let them know.
Okay. I'm not promoting my podcast, but maybe I am. But you'll see that the way I am in my podcast is the way I am right now with you, except I'm alone in a room. My podcast is called Stroke Surviving the Odds. And in my podcast, I share candidly how we are now about a lot of the things that is going on in our life right now. So I have a podcast, I have a blog, I have a support group. I founded two different survivor groups on Facebook. So there's help. 20 years ago, 24 years ago, there was nothing. There was no concept of Facebook or Instagram or podcast. Now we have it. Take advantage of it. And sing. Thank you so very much. That is my story. Thank you for being such great listeners. And I love you guys very much.
I hope that everyone had a wonderful evening. But just before you leave, I want to give you a quick reminder that you're not what happened to you. You're what you choose to become.
Boom! You made it here! Good on you. Make sure you click the subscribe button below and check out the playlist at the end. If you'd like to come along to our Sunday sessions where we host a live free Q&A for our students and members, you're welcome. I'll see you there.